December's already half the way over, and as we get to the end of the year, it's actually getting more crazy by the hour for the mobile gaming. We get so many good games every month, and around holidays, even more. That said, here's about 18 more of the top trending newest releases of December 2022 for Android and iOS devices as well. Let's go.
But the day's repeating itself.
What are you talking about?
Available exclusively for the Netflix members only, which is just a bummer, but there's actually ways to get this one for free out there, so you don't really want to worry about that. Guys, at number 1 we've got 12 Minutes. I'm sure a lot of you know about this one from earlier this year. It's one of Anapan Interactive's most engaging puzzle games of all time. Hell, I don't even know how this game was ported to mobile devices, and damn, is it actually a good port. Here's a trailer in case you missed it. The game's taking you down for almost 800 megabytes of space.
Wait, Bob, please, you must be thinking of someone else.
No playing dumb.
I know the truth.
I'm not lying.
I just said no more games.
I forgave everything, all of it.
Things like this just don't get forgiven.
Sitting on the Play Store since only last week, with over 1 million downloads and a 4.7 out of 5 review score. Guys, we've got over here something called Alphabet Shooter, as obvious as the title could be. This is exactly a survival first-person shooter in which you're basically running around and shooting alphabet letters. That's just all there is to it. If you like running around mindlessly and just gunning down things, this definitely the one for you. Out of that, I don't even know why it is trending. Believe it or not, this game's actually awarded the number 1 action shooter game of the month on the Play Store. Hopefully, I'm wrong though. Moving on. Now, on the other hand, we've got over here Battle Forces, which is, although downloaded over 5 million times, actually one of the underrated games, and I've been personally waiting for the right moment to talk about it. Here's a trailer, guys. Graphically, this game is probably the most amazing game on the Play Store. In gameplay, it's very, very generous. Hell, the online play has you another 10 players go around and have so much fun, you wouldn't know what hit you in the end. This game's free, and it's even playable offline. Coming up at number 4 from roughly half a year ago. Well, just an honorable mention, guys. We've got over here something called Tofus Drift Car, which is sitting on the Play Store with over 100,000 downloads. This game's perhaps the smoothest on the list today. In addition to that, it's a semi-open world driving and mechanic sim. Pretty much what the rest of the driving sim games out there have to offer, albeit this one has a very, very enjoyable control. This game is about 250 megabytes of space. It's all the way free and also offline. Downloaded almost 1 million times since only a month ago. We've got over here at number 5 something called Sigma, which is just simply the best battle royale free-to-play 50-player competitive game I've seen for the past 6 months, if not even more. The game, though, as I've learned today, was taken down from the Play Store because it's a copy of Free Fire game. However, it's actually back now under the name Sigma Battle Royale Fire Game. You can use a link down in the description. It's free and takes you about 300 megabytes of space. It's a great game. Coming to the Apple Store in about a week, but already out there on the Google Play, we've got at number 6 a 3 vs 3 multiplayer action shooter from precisely last week, something here called Ricochet Squad. This has to be one of the most fun arena-style shooter platformers out there for the past 3 months, if not even more, with roguelike gameplay mechanics and PvPvE components. Here's a short trailer. This game's downloaded only 1,000 times ever since its release, and it is about 130 megabytes of space for you. Coming up at number 7, we've got the probably cutest World War II first-person shooting game. Not a free one though, only through the first few maps. Something here called Ardennes Fury. What I'm guessing is technically what you'd get by mixing the Lego games with the movie Fury. It's just a minimalized / comedy version of Call of Duty, but in graphics it's almost a console quality with minor to actually no bugs so far. Games are very fun, smooth, and it's quite hefty in content. In paid though, so keep it in mind. Coming from the same developers of Death Park games and about 4 or 5 more nothing but survival horror masterpieces on the Google Play so far, we've got over here the sequel to Horror Tale Kidnapper from July this year, going by Samantha, sitting on the Play Store with a 5 out of 5 review score, something you probably won't see for a horror game more than once every few months. This game is free all the way. It has the equal amount of great story, puzzle, and horror elements, and it's super good in gameplay and replay value. Moving on to number 9, we've got from the same creators of Drift Legends and JDM Racing, well, a few other known car sim games, something here called Hod Racing. It's actually a pretty famous game that came out a couple of weeks ago and sitting on the Play Store ever since with only 1,000 downloads. Still automatically just one of the most underrated racing games of all time. This is a multiplayer / single player old school racer with pretty realistic physics and very good controls, and it is actually free all the way. Moving on to number 10, we've got, I would have to say, my least favorite game of the day. I had to say that, no other way around it, sorry. We've got over here one of the much awaited social life dress-up sims, finally here. This is actually from the same developers of Dragon Raha. It's perhaps one of the most realistic games released recently, and I'd have to say definitely for you if you do appreciate a good art. Honestly, it's crazy how good and well designed this thing is over here, and it's all the way free. This is how it really looks. Now on the opposite side of the story in terms of graphics though, we've got from earlier this year, actually one of the most awaited earlier December, one of the most awaited games of the year, something called Ninja Must Die. This is single-handedly the funnest, fastest, smoothest game that came out in December, and somehow it's even free. The game has a downside though, it'll actually take you down for almost a gigabyte of space. However, for that capacity, it actually pays off in ways you couldn't begin to imagine. Here's how it looks, and here's how it works. Moving on to number 12, we've got from earlier this year. I've actually mentioned this one roughly a dozen times already. One of the most fast-paced, Doom-inspired mini-games, coming from an indie developer. Well, something here called Devil War, or formerly named as Devil or something. Well, this game just got its own brand. It's now official, they even released a new trailer for it, and it now has even minor online components. It's free all the way, and if you're into Doom games and arena-style shooters, it is definitely the one for you. So keep it in mind. At number 13 from earlier this year, sitting on the Play Store with a 4.9 score out of 5 and a million download ever since, well, a zombie survival shooter over here called Dead Raid. Guys, it's exactly what the title kind of suggests. It's just a pretty decent zombie shooting game, probably what you get by mixing a House of the Dead game and the Nazi zombie Call of Duty modes. You have to throw in a little bit of idle game elements and you get this. Here's how it looks, works, it's all the way free, it's smooth, fun to play, addicting as hell, and quite fine-tuned in nature. At number 14, we've got from a tad over a week ago, actually from the same developers of All Ice Scream games and a lot of other horror games released for the past few years, well, a totally brand new IP going by Witch Cry, which according to reviews out there, I haven't played this one, has to be the most fine-tuned story-based horror game coming out of the company ever since it opened. The game's got quite a bit of survival horror elements, it's all balanced and detailed, has no bugs that I've heard about so far, it's free all the way, and it's actually promised to be continued with further episodes. Take a look.
Very well. That's how I like it. Very fat and tasty, child.
At number 14, we've got over here, I don't know precisely why this game is trending since only 4 days ago, but I'm guessing it's addicting, hence all the attention it's gotten ever since release. Something here called Dreamstar Monster Arcade, which I believe to be an animal life-saving sort of sim, and that's the rest is just history. Just take a look. If you're interested, the game is free, and it's also playable offline. At number 16, we've got from last month, something over here called Legend of the Dragon Wings. What is touted as a role-playing dragon-flying semi-open world action adventure, where your job is to just save a village by protecting it from raider tribes. Well, here's how it looks. The game is at the moment fully offline, but the multiplayer, more fun parts, is said by developers to be in the making and due out by the end of the year. At number 17 from earlier August this year. Otherwise, I would have to put this one at number 1 or 2 or something in the list. We've got over here Omega Strikers, what has to be one of the most underrated games for the free-to-play 3 vs 3 arena-style platformers. It's actually an amped-up kind of version of the old Windjammers, or the one that came out recently with modernized graphics and online components. This game's free, very hard to get the hang of, but quiet, fun once you get the hang of it. And last but not least, well, just because I like to include at least an idle game in the list every time, with a 5 out of 5 review score and over 10,000 downloads since only a week ago, guys, we've got over here something called Dark Hero Idle Magic RPG. I'm personally considering to dump AFK Arena that I've been playing for the past 5 years and start this one mainly because of how well this game is made and how much content it is jam-packed with for such an early game. The game's free and it is very rewarding. It also will take you only 30 megabytes of space.